Are you looking for all the latest pro football news and content? Of course you are. Who doesn't love football? The question is, how do you get all the latest pro football news and content? There's so many different pro football podcasts on the internet. Which one do you choose? Which one is the right fit for you? Well, you go with the Cross the Middle Show, one of the fastest growing football podcasts out right now. Over the past year, we've climbed the Spotify rankings, become a show you have to listen to if you're a football fan. Find out if the Ravens will go all the way with Odell Beckham Jr. Find out if the Eagles did enough to make it back to the Super Bowl. You'll get all of our best stories for just $1 per month. All you have to do is sign up by clicking the link in the episode description box. We have another great Across the Middle Show episode for you. I'm your host, John Kuzma. We're going to start with the Mike Tomlin story. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Nick Bosa. Let's start with Mike Tomlin. So, is Mike Tomlin a lock to make the Hall of Fame? I think Mike Tomlin is already a lock to make the Hall of Fame. If he retired right now, I think he would be in the Hall of Fame. You look at his track record. He's won a Super Bowl. He won another Super Bowl as an assistant coach. He's never had a losing season. And you look at some of the best coaches around the league. You got Bill Belichick. You have Andy Reid. Outside of them, Mike Tomlin has to be in the discussion. I think if you go off this current era, I think, Mike Tomlin has to be the guy that gets in. Just a pillar of stability for the Steelers. And you look at all the things he's been able to do since he's been there. I'm talking about motivating players, reeling players in, getting players to stay focused on football and not, get distracted by the things off the field. I think that's one of the big things. Antonio Brown has his best days there. Antonio Brown won a Super Bowl with the Bucks, but his best football individually came with the Steelers, a late round pick out of Central Michigan. Mike Tomlin got him to stay focused on football and helped Antonio Brown put together some of his best days as a football player with the Steelers. Le'Veon Bell had his best days with the Steelers. It just goes to show how good Mike Tomlin has been. He gets the most out of his players. They're always focused only on football. The guy's a winner. There's no doubt about that. And, I think for sure he should be the guy out of this current era outside of Bill Belichick and Andy Reid that makes it to the Hall of Fame. I think he's already a Hall of Famer. I really do, just because never had a losing season. It looked like that might slip away this past year. At the end of the season, he ends up churning out a winning season still. That says something about Mike Tomlin, how he's able to connect with his players, how his message resonates with his players, how well respected he is by his players. Those are the things that jump out about Mike Tomlin, and it's always a good thing for the Steelers. They're always in good shape. You look at this past year, Ben Roethlisberger's no longer there. They're supposed to have a down year. We don't know what to expect from Kenny Pickett, yet Mike Tomlin still has enough in him to pull out a winning season just because he is such a good leader. Leads from the front, leads by example, make sure his guys are only thinking about football. And that's one of the best things you can do, especially at the professional level where it's even harder. It's even harder in the pros to get your players to buy in because these guys have all the money in the world. They have all the opportunities in the world. It's easy to be distracted when you're a professional football player, but Mike Tomlin never lets that be the case with this team. And this team, the Steelers, you look at the coaches they have, Mike Tomlin, Bill Cowher, Chuck Noll. They always had these coaches that are just a stabilizing force for this team. Mike Tomlin is just the latest example of it, a guy that's done a remarkable job of leading the Steelers, keeping them in the hunt. They're never out of it, no matter how bad it seems. Ben Roethlisberger isn't there anymore. It doesn't matter because, Mike Tomlin keeps them in the hunt, keeps them competitive. It's just one of the biggest testaments you can give to Mike Tomlin that he's a great coach, a great leader of men, someone that always keeps his team laser focused. I don't know what else I can say because he's just been that good, and I've said it enough. The guy is just a great coach, a great leader. Mike Tomlin just gets it done. That's the bottom line. And, when you ask that question, is he worthy of the Hall of Fame already? If he's not, then who is? Because the guy has just done such a good job with the Steelers. They're going to be back in the hunt this year too, because he is such a stabilizing force, because he does such a good job of delivering a message to his players and keeping them motivated. I mean, it's great work by Mike Tomlin. You got to pat the guy on the back. He's done it at a high level for a long time. Ever since he took over that team, they've never had a losing season. He's a winner year in and year out, a guy that builds on the momentum that he already has. And even when things seem to be, down and out because Ben Roethlisberger isn't there, Mike Tomlin finds a way to flip the script and pull out another winning season. I think that's like the best thing you can say about Mike Tomlin. The guy, when it's all said and done, is just a flat-out winner. We don't know how many years he's going to have left. What is it now, like 16 years now already? I mean, it's getting up there. It's been a lot. So we'll see what he does in the near future. We'll see where he goes from here because, he's won a lot of seasons, but, once you start hitting, 15, 16 years in the league, that grind starts to wear you down a little bit. But for Mike Tomlin, he seems to just shrug it off and keep going. Doesn't faze him at all. It seems like he's still happy doing the things that he does, coaching football, guiding players in the right direction, and making the most out of any team he has. So we'll see what happens next for Mike Tomlin. The other story we have is the Nick Bosa story. Can Nick Bosa be a back-to-back sack leader in the National Football League? So he led the league in sacks last year. Can he go back-to-back this year? I think like 4 players have done it since like 1982. Reggie White, TJ Watt are a couple of them. Is Nick Bosa good enough to do it? You know what I think on this one. I think Nick Bosa is one of the most dominant defenders in the National Football League. I think he's so physically overpowering. He can get it done both ways, power or speed. He has so many tricks in his bag. A guy that can cut off half the field as a defensive end because you don't want to run his way. You have to keep a running back or a tight end on his side to chip him, stay home and chip him, because if you leave him in one-on-one, in a one-on-one matchup against offensive tackle, he's going to beat you almost every single time. There's very few dominating forces like Nick Bosa. I mean, the guy is just cut from a different cloth. Like I said, led the league in sacks last year. There's a very good chance he's going to go back-to-back this year. The only thing with Nick Bosa is he has to stay healthy. Other than that, if he stays healthy, guess what? He's going to dominate. And that's a big reason why the 49ers have been a great football team ever since he got there, because Nick Bosa year in and year out just dominates the league, overpowers any left tackle that he goes against. Just a force on the football field, honestly. Just a force that is breathing down quarterbacks' necks constantly. So if you ask me, can he be the top defender in the league again and lead the league in sacks for back-to-back years? I think it's a no-brainer. Of course he can, and I expect him to do it just because he is that gifted. To me, he is one of the most dominant forces in the league. To me, he's just on another level compared to the rest of these guys. It's not easy to block this guy because you have to draw up your whole offensive game plan around stopping him. Are you going to double him? Well, you better, because if you don't, you're going to lose that game. So you have to double him. So you have to keep a tight end home out of running a route. You have to keep a running back home. When a guy is drawing 2 extra blockers, now he's getting doubled and triple teamed. I mean, that opens up possibilities for the other guys because now they're all getting one-on-one matchups, and obviously they're going to have a much better chance at winning those matchups because so much of the offense's focus is going towards Nick Bosa. They have to stop him because he's a game wrecker. If they don't stop him, then what's even the point? Because he's going to eat every single snap. he's going to wear you down, that's going to be it. It's going to be over because Nick Bosa is that good. He's that overpowering. There's a reason he led the league in sacks last year because he is cut from a different cloth. So, yeah, you have to double team Nick Bosa on every single play. Sometimes you have to triple team him. Sometimes you have to slide over the guard too and help with the tackle to make sure that he's contained at least a little bit. You're never going to completely contain him, but maybe you can get him down to 80 or 70%. And really that's a victory for the offense because you're not going to get him under 70%. 70% is basically a win for the offense because Nick Bosa is always going to be up 70-30 against you just because he's that physically dominant. I think for sure he's the front runner to lead the league in sacks. Obviously, T.J. Watt's going to be up there too. Myles Garrett will be in the mix. Max Crosby, those are the guys we expect to perform well. But right now it's Nick Bosa. There's a reason he led the league in sacks. It's because he's playing at such a high level. It's because nobody has an answer for him. And because he is just all these physical tools combined in one player, which you rarely see. So I got Nick Bosa number one still. The only thing that would probably change that is him getting injured during the season, which has happened in the past. That's kind of his Achilles heel. If he's healthy, he's going to dominate. If he's injured, that's the only thing that kind of holds him back. Nobody's perfect in this world. Not even Nick Bosa, unfortunately, but when he plays, he's the closest thing to perfect that we have on the defensive side of the ball. So, yeah, he's going to be the front runner to lead the league in sacks. It'll be exciting to see if he can go back-to-back or not. I certainly think he's capable of it. I think it's something that's very likely to happen. And we just got to see if Nick Bosa comes through and delivers or not. Really, that's all I got for this episode of the Cross the Middle Show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sign up to be a member for just $1 per month. You'll get all the latest pro football news and content. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day.